Spider-Man 2099 is a really cool version of Spider-Man in comic books, and we'll explain why. In the first part of the Spider-Verse story, Spider-Man 2099 plays an important role as the leader of the League of Spider-People. However, in this video, we'll tell you his story.
I'm sorry, who exactly are you supposed to be?
So, Spider-Man 2099 was created by Peter David and Rick Leonardi. He first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man 365 in August 1992 as a preview, and then in Spider-Man 2099 Issue 1 in November of the same year. The man behind the mask is Miguel O'Hara. He's half Mexican and half Irish. Fun fact, he actually came before Miles Morales as the first Hispanic Spider-Man. Miguel is from the year 2099, and he lived on Earth 928. He used to work as a genetic scientist for the Alchemax Corporation. Miguel had this idea to recreate the powers of the original Spider-Man, Peter Parker, using genetic splicing. But things didn't go as planned when his boss, Tyler Stone, who was a terrible person, got him addicted to a dangerous drug called Rapture. Despite the addiction, Miguel was determined to find a cure. He tried to rewrite his own genetic code to break free from the drug's hold. Now, you'd better stick around because there's much more to the story than that little sneak peek. So, let's start in the Nueva York of 2099. 5 teens are flying around in their hover car, but trouble finds them when they encounter Spider-Man being chased by some flyboys from the public eye. Spider-Man manages to escape, but he crashes into Officer Estevez in the process. Back at his apartment, Miguel is having a tough time. His digital assistant, Lila, tells him about some messages he received. His boss wants him to give in to his drug addiction and come to the office. His brother, Gabe, reaches out to him despite their differences, and his fiancée, Dana D'Angelo, is worried sick about him after seeing him in a drugged state. Miguel's behavior is getting strange, and even Lila is noticing something is off. Miguel wants to fix the mistakes he's made, so he starts recording everything that led to his current situation, starting from when he worked at Alchemax. The corporation saw great potential in Miguel and gave him a lot of support for his education. They made him the head of a new genetics program. However, this caused problems with Aaron Delgado, who was higher up in the company. Aaron didn't like Miguel and thought he was arrogant and disrespectful. Miguel was proud of the progress they had made, especially in changing the genes of test animals. He even found inspiration from files on Spider-Man, a hero from the past with amazing spider-like abilities. However, the company sought faster results, so they introduced a convict named Mr. Sims as a test subject. Miguel wasn't ready for human testing, but he had to try anyway. The experiment with Mr. Sims went wrong, and he turned into a disfigured creature that attacked Miguel. Despite the terrible outcome, Tyler Stone, the boss, saw it as some positive results, and on his part, Miguel felt like quitting after this disaster. Stone acted like he accepted Miguel's decision to leave and even gave him some special wine. However, the wine was laced with a drug called Rapture, which is expensive and addictive. It's a mind-altering drug, and Stone wanted to keep Miguel dependent on it, even if he left the company. In other words, once you go Rapture, you never go back. In a dazed state from the drug, Miguel went home and had a bad experience. He lashed out at his fiancée, mistaking her for a monster. He explained to her that he's now stuck as an addict, even if he quits Alchemax. At this point, Miguel believed he could escape his current situation by using his genetic structure saved as a sample in the Corporate Raider program. He had been experimenting with it on apes and hoped that if he survived the trial process, he could return to his pre-drug state. Unknowingly, Aaron Delgado watched him secretly and decided to get rid of Miguel by sabotaging the machine. The machine ended up merging Miguel's DNA with that of a spider, causing a violent explosion. Surprisingly, Miguel survived, but was transformed into a fanged, clawed creature. Now, let's talk about Spider-Man 2099's unique powers. He has organic webbing made from spinnerets, just like the original Spider-Man, but there are key differences. Miguel's genetic experiment gives him enhanced strength and agility, making him physically more capable than Peter Parker. He can perform amazing acrobatics, lift heavy objects, and fight superhuman foes. His reflexes and agility also make him a skilled combatant, allowing him to dodge attacks and move quickly during battles. Unlike Peter Parker's web slinging, Spider-Man 2099 clings to surfaces using talons on his fingertips and toes. This gives him greater freedom to move around and easily navigate vertical environments. It's also what gives him a unique appearance, with sharp talons on his costume. Another cool power is his built-in camouflage system called active invisibility. This technology allows him to blend into his surroundings, making him nearly invisible to others. This stealth ability gives him an advantage in surprise attacks and covert operations, which is different from Peter Parker's more straightforward crime-fighting approach. One extraordinary feature of Spider-Man 2099 is his poisonous fangs, similar to venomous spiders. These fangs can paralyze people, including superpowered individuals like Namor the Submariner. It's a powerful ability, making him a formidable version of Spider-Man. However, one thing Miguel doesn't have is the spider sense like Peter Parker. Despite this, his unique powers and abilities make Spider-Man 2099 a remarkable and strong iteration of the web-slinging hero. Let's quickly talk about some of the bad guys Spider-Man 2099 has faced in case they show up in a future movie. First, there's Goblin 2099, a futuristic version of the Green Goblin with even more advanced technology. Then, there's Cannibal, a darker future version of Vulture. Also, a character named Flipside can copy the powers of both Spider-Man and Venom. In addition, Venom 2099 himself is one of the coolest villains in the 2099 universe. And there's a major villain called Morlun, along with the Inheritors. Although they aren't from the year 2099, they were big bads in the Spider-Verse story and gave Miguel a tough challenge. It won't be surprising if they appear in upcoming Spider movies. For those new to Spider-Man 2099 comics, a good starting point is Spider-Man 2099 Volume 1, Out of Time, by Peter David and Will Sliney. It introduces Miguel O'Hara battling futuristic villains and navigating the world of 2099 as Spider-Man. Then, you can jump into Spider-Man 2099 Volume 2, Spider-Verse, also by Peter David. In this story, Miguel teams up with other Spider-Men from different dimensions to take on Morlun and the Inheritors. Lastly, check out Spider-Man 2099 Volume 3, Smack to the Future, by Peter David and Will Sliney. Miguel goes time traveling and encounters his own future in this fun story. Also, here's a little teaser on the second issue of Volume 1 to whet your appetites. Miguel O'Hara tells his holographic digital assistant, Lila, about his strange transformation. Aaron Delgado had secretly sabotaged the genetic process, turning Miguel into a monstrous creature with talons and other spider-like abilities. Miguel then fights Delgado and accidentally causes an explosion that damages the Alchemax building. Later, Miguel encounters a man dressed as Thor who mistakes him for Spider-Man. They team up and escape from the scene. Miguel realizes he can stick to walls and has enhanced vision like a spider. Public Eye security agents find him, and he narrowly escapes by clinging to a building. Meanwhile, Tyler Stone, the Alchemax boss, receives a tense call from Tiger Wilde, who is unhappy with Alchemax's performance. Venture, who is an elite agent, investigates the lab's damage and notices signs of Delgado and Miguel's presence. Back in his apartment, Miguel is shocked to find his transformation wasn't a dream. He worries about controlling his newfound abilities. His brother Gabe visits and asks about Alchemax and the addictive drug Rapture. Miguel hides him from Venture, who is tracking the escaped Spider-Man. To distract Venture, Miguel attaches a piece of a glider to his costume and confronts Venture. Moreover, he tries to act fearless, even though he's scared. And furthermore, here's a little bit more from issue number 46, the very last issue of Volume 1. After defeating the Goblin, Spider-Man faces a new crisis when an army of Atlantean warriors attacks the Alchemax building. He's torn between his identity as Miguel O'Hara, the CEO of Alchemax, and Spider-Man, who owes nothing to the company. Despite this conflict, he helps the Public Eye fight off the invaders. He discovers that the Atlanteans are under orders from their leader, Atuma. Spider-Man tries to reason with them, but they see him as an enemy. The Vulture unexpectedly saves Spider-Man from an attack, but he plans to kill both Spider-Man and Father Jennifer, who he has taken as a hostage. Also, Miguel's mother, Conchata, leads the counterattack against the Atlanteans. Tyler Stone, meanwhile, plans to escape to Alchemax's Mars colony, but he's not as helpless as he seems, and in the process, kills an Atlantean warrior. Spider-Man subsequently reveals his true identity to the Vulture, thus shocking him. After one more battle, the Vulture flees, leaving bombs in the building. Spider-Man treats his wounds while he orders an evacuation. Afterwards, he, Father Jennifer, and Conchata search for the bombs, but tragedy strikes as Conchata is shot and dies. Tyler Stone is also fatally shot. Ultimately, Spider-Man and Father Jennifer manage to escape on a spaceship as the Alchemax building explodes. And so, Miguel now wonders what the next chapter of his life will bring.